This is Dharma Door of return the hearing to hear your nature, 反闻闻自性. This particular Dharma Door here, return the hearing to hear your self-nature, 反闻 is to return the hearing, 闻自性, to listen to your own or your self-nature. That's the One Yin Dharma Door. In the Shrangma Sutra, it says that among the 25 sages that the Buddha asked to teach us, to share the experience, and at the end of that section, the Buddha helped us arrive at the conclusion that the most suitable Chan Dharma Door for us in the Saha world here is that 反闻闻自性, to return the hearing, to listen to your self-nature. And that's why I realized, because from that Shrangama Sutra, I realized that that was a very important Dharma Door. And since I like Chan, so I spent some time practicing it. The first thing is that when you recite things, let's say you recite a mantra or recite One Yin's name, you recite the Buddha's name, what you need to do, you simply focus on listening to your own sound. This is very important because what happened to you, to us, is that your hearing has a tendency to go outside and look for sounds, look for the pleasant music. You pay attention to noises, and when people gossip, you say, oh, will catch your attention. So ordinary people, the way we function is that we go outside ourselves and to seek the sound. So whatever sound we hear is from the outside. And so when we hear sound, we go to the outside and look at the sound, look at the source of the sound. And that's how we function through our hearing organ, our hearing consciousness. And with this particular Dharma Door that the Buddha taught, that the sages shared in the Shrangama Sutra, we taught to, as we hear the sound, we should look at our self-nature. The practice for you starting out is you create your own sound. You recite something, let's say the Buddha's name or One Yin Bodhisattva's name, even a mantra, anything. But let's keep it simple. Let's say you recite One Yin's name, which I did, or you recite Buddha's name, Amitabha Buddha. You recite Great Strength Bodhisattva's name, same thing. When you recite, typically, you make your own sound, but you also are paying attention to all the sounds around you. Whereas in this particular Dharma Door, when you recite, you only focus on the sound of your own sound. Whatever sounds around you that your ear organ registers, you ignore them. You don't pay attention. That's the fundamentals of the process. You have to do that. So the first thing you do is you recite something. One Yin Bodhisattva, let's say, One Yin Pusa, One Yin Pusa, One Yin Pusa, whatever. However you recite, or Emituofo, Emituofo, or Namo Emituofo. Okay, whatever you want to recite. And then keep it simple. Let's say, Emituofo, okay? Then you listen to it. You listen to your own sound only. Even when you recite silently, you listen to your sound in your head. The sound, when you listen closely, you hear the sound in your head, in your ears, internal sound produced by your mind. Or if, like during the Fochi, we recite the Buddha's name loudly, then you're producing your own sound. There's a section where we recite silently, you still listen. You follow that sound in that you recite in your mouth, but then when you stop, actually the sound, you pay attention, the sound is still in your mind. So that's what you do. Fundamentally, you only listen to the sound you produce. You ignore all the other sounds around. The second part, ignoring all the other sounds, is very, very important. So you learn to ignore it. As you say, as you recite, Emituofo, Emituofo, and then let's say there's a gun going off next to you, okay? Boom! You ignore it. You don't react to it. You don't say, you want to put a gun to you and say, you feel lucky today, punk? Even with that, what do? You say nothing. You ignore it completely. So when he pulls the trigger and the gun goes off, what happens? You're dead. You die. But what a glorious death. Okay? So that's the point, is that no matter what happens, when you recite, you ignore everything around you. Even when someone puts a gun to your head and pulls the trigger, you don't care. That's the kind of dedication you need. Okay? That's all you do. When you do that, then you go through phases. And after you do that, there's the next phase, and after the next phase, another phase, another phase, another phase that naturally evolves. Okay? And eventually you get to the final stage where you become enlightened. You do one thing, you only just listen to your sound, the sound of your recitation, and nothing else. Ignore everything else. You do that, wonderful things happen. Okay? But it requires a lot of dedication.
Emituofo, 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 Emituofo.